lálàá olùlọ́jọ́ kọkànlá oṣù kẹwàá ṣe fẹ́ gbọ́. ọjọ́ tó ń sọjọ́ ìbí ọmọ aládìkún olóyè Sunday májàsọ́lá àdìsá ọmọ adéyẹmọ aka ìgbòho òòṣà nípa bí gbogbo àwọn ọmọ ẹgbẹ́ ìfẹ́lọ́dún àpapọ̀ yorùbá lágbàáyé lábẹ́ ààrẹ wa ọmọọba adébáyọ̀ fáládé ti gbákejì ààrẹ mọ́kàndé gíadùnbí kentos tí ń ṣe ìrọ́kẹ̀kẹ̀ ìgbáradì níbàámu pẹ̀lú ìfẹ́ àti ẹ̀mí ìforihàn wàgbékalẹ̀ àyẹ́sí ọjọ́ ìbí ìgbòho fún tọdún yìí pẹ̀lú àkọlé dinner with ìgbòho. bákan náà làwọn ọmọ gba ọba ògbóni àgbáyé lálejò tajudeen ọlárẹwájú àjàlá àti bàbá adésọjí tàlàbí àwòrò ṣàṣà eégún mọ̀gájí nílùú London láti wá ṣe àyẹ́sí fún olóyè ìgbòho lọ́jọ́ náà tí ó wáyé nínú gbọ̀ngàn ńlá ní London Kensington 179-199 Holland Park Avenue London W11 4UL United Kingdom bẹ̀rẹ̀ látago 7 ìrọ̀lẹ́ ẹlẹ́lẹ́dago 12 òru. bákan náà láti ń kí wa kú ìmúrasílẹ̀ ìwọ́de làmìlaka tẹgbẹ̀lẹ́gbẹ̀ ènìyàn tí ó wáyé nílùú ọba 1 million rally in London lọ́jọ́ 12 oṣù kẹwàá ó jẹ́ ọjọ́ kejì dínà pẹ̀lú ìgbòho lẹ́yìn tó OLAYOMI KOIKI àti bàbá wa gbẹ̀dú ọmọ ṣàkóso ẹ̀ lọ́ọ̀kan ọ̀jọ̀kan àwọn àlàkalẹ̀ ìrọ̀rùn. bàbá ṣe máa fi ọkọ̀ àjàgbé ńlá ní London route bus gbé àwọn àgbààgbà àti àwọn abarapá gbogbo láti BBC in Oxford Street títí tí ìwọ́de ó fi parí sí Paris Trafalgar Square tó bá wá di ọjọ́ 13 ọjọ́ kẹtàdínà pẹ̀lú ìgbòho láwọn máa ṣàbẹ̀wò lọ sí ìlú Manchester gan. fún ẹ̀kúnrẹ́rẹ́ àlàyé síwájú sí i tàbí láti dá sí ètò ìfọlọ́ntírìlì ẹ lè pè tàbí kẹ́ WhatsApp OLAYOMI KOIKI lórí +447 594 050 979 Kéde Ìjàdùbí lórí +447 570 320 030 Ṣọlá kò gbọdọ̀ kú lórí +353 863 375 537. bákan náà ní ẹ lè kàn sí Tóyìn Ọláoyè lórí +447 896 018 764. lápapọ̀ ọmọ yorùbá àgbáyé pátápátá YSDN pẹ̀lú yorùbá world media home and diaspora àti gbogbo ìkànnì mìíràn tó ń sọ̀rọ̀ sókè fún ìjàǹgbara ọmọ yorùbá. ní àwọn ẹgbẹ́ ìfẹ́lọ́dún àpapọ̀ ọmọ yorùbá ṣe ń kí ọmọ aládìkún wípé ẹ kú ọdún ẹ kú ìyèdún a sì ń ṣàmọ́dún àṣàmọ́dún sẹ́ẹ̀mí ìtayà tọmọ. yorùbá world media tó ń kéde lórúkọ gbogbo ọmọ yorùbá pátápátá.
gbogbo ẹ̀yin ọmọ ọ̀dọ́ tá a jọ ń káàkiri ọ̀dọ́jọ́ ni wá ẹ mọ̀ jẹ́ kí a fi àyè gba fúlàní lórí ilẹ̀ àwọn bàbá wa ẹ mọ̀ jẹ́ ká bú ọba mọ́ ẹ mọ̀ jẹ́ ká bú jòyè mọ́ nígbà tá a la fẹ́ jà fún àwọn ọ̀rẹ́ wa táwa ń kọ́kọ́ ń bú ọba tá à ń bú jòyè èmi náà ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ rí bọ́ mo pera mi padà ẹ mọ̀ jẹ́ ká bú àgbààgbà kankan mọ́ ẹ mọ̀ bolóṣèlú kankan ẹ̀rù kálukú ń bẹ̀rù wọn ò lè sọ̀rọ̀ ọba ò lè sọ ìjòyè lè sọ ẹ jẹ́ ká ronú ẹ mọ̀ jẹ́ ká bá àwọn bàbá wa jà mọ́ ẹ mọ̀ jẹ́ á bú wọn mọ́ ẹ mọ̀ jẹ́ á ṣe wọn àwọn ará pẹ̀lú wọn àwọn àgbà tán bá jó lóṣèlú tá a bá fẹ́ kọ́ wọn rẹ̀ wá lọ́wọ́ á gbé wọn mọ́ra á gbé wọn mọ́ra ni à ní bú wọn mọ́ ẹ mọ̀ jẹ́ á ṣèjẹ̀gbọ́n ẹ mọ̀ jẹ́ á dà lúrú a lè gba ẹ̀tọ́ wa láì ṣèjẹ̀gbọ́n a lè gba ẹ̀tọ́ wa láì yìnbọn a lè gba ẹ̀tọ́ wa láì dà lúrú gbogbo protest mo ṣe ní ìlú Nàìjíríà mi ò rí ibi tí mo ti ẹnìkan lè sọ pé mo pààyàn tàbí mo jó nǹkan náà tàbí mo bà nǹkan jẹ́ mo lọ písù torí pé olówó lèmi náà tí ò bá sólówó lára ń dì mọ́ gbogbo nǹkan tọ́lọ́run fún yàn lọ́lọ́run fún mi mi ṣe tálákà tó dé pé mo dìde fún jà Yorùbá big man ni mi àwọn tó jẹ́ ọ̀rẹ́ mi tó súnmọ́ mi tó ní owó ní kí ni mo wá lọ bẹ̀ pé sọ́wọ́ lè mi mò ń fẹ́ ni kí n sọ yìí tí mo fẹ́ mo ní ìsọ̀rọ̀ owó àní ọ̀rọ̀ ìran mi ni mò ń sọ kí n wọ gbowó kí n gbéra kí n pé mò ń lọ ọ̀dọ̀ ọba gbowó mò ń lọ ọ̀dọ̀ oníbodè òfin gbowó kí n kójó wọlé kọ́kàn mi balẹ̀ kí n dá wa mọ́tò kí n mọ́ rìn bọ̀ kí fúlàní mọ́ dá mi dúró títì kí n délé kí bàbá sọ pé kí n gbé tírélà sùn kí n mọ́ gbé lọ àwọn bàbá wo lè lóko mọ́ wọn ò lè lóńdò ẹ jẹ́ ká fọwọ́sowọ́pọ̀ ká ti àwọn bàbá wa lẹ́yìn ká dá security ti wa lẹ̀ ká sọ fún wọn kí wọ́n bá wa fọwọ́ tì í ká lé wọn kó nu oko wa ẹ ṣé mo dúpẹ́ Jésù Olúwa wa.
lálàá olùlọ́jọ́ kọkànlá oṣù kẹwàá ṣe fẹ́ gbọ́. ọjọ́ tó ń sọjọ́ ìbí ọmọ aládìkún olóyè Sunday májàsọ́lá àdìsá ọmọ adéyẹmọ aka ìgbòho òòṣà nípa bí gbogbo àwọn ọmọ ẹgbẹ́ ìfẹ́lọ́dún àpapọ̀ yorùbá lágbàáyé lábẹ́ ààrẹ wa ọmọọba adébáyọ̀ fáládé ti gbákejì ààrẹ mọ́kàndé gíadùnbí kentos tí ń ṣe ìrọ́kẹ̀kẹ̀ ìgbáradì níbàámu pẹ̀lú ìfẹ́ àti ẹ̀mí ìforihàn wàgbékalẹ̀ àyẹ́sí ọjọ́ ìbí ìgbòho fún tọdún yìí pẹ̀lú àkọlé dinner with ìgbòho. bákan náà làwọn ọmọ gba gba ọba ògbóni àgbáyé lálejò Tajudeen Ọlárẹ̀wájú Àjàlá àti bàbá Adésọjí Tàlàbí àwòrò ṣàṣà eégún mọ̀gájí nílùú London láti wá ṣe àyẹ́sí fún olóyè Ìgbòho lọ́jọ́ náà tí ó wáyé nínú gbọ̀ngàn ńlá ní London Kensington 179 to 199 Holland Park Avenue London W114UL United Kingdom bẹ̀rẹ̀ látago 7 ìrọ̀lẹ́ ẹlẹ́lẹ́dago 12 òru. Bákan náà láti ń kí wa kú ìmúrasílẹ̀ ìwọ́de làmìlaka tẹgbẹ̀lẹ́gbẹ̀ ènìyàn tí ó wáyé nílùú ọba 1 million rally in London lọ́jọ́ 12 oṣù kẹwàá ó jẹ́ ọjọ́ kejì dínà pẹ̀lú Ìgbòho léyìí tó Ọláyọmí Kóìkì àti bàbá wa Gbẹ̀du ó mọ ṣàkóso ẹ̀ lọ́ọ̀kan ọ̀jọ̀kan àwọn àlàkalẹ̀ ìrọ̀rùn. Bàbá ṣe máa fi ọkọ̀ àjàgbé ńlá ní London route bus gbé àwọn àgbààgbà àti àwọn abarapá gbogbo láti BBC in Oxford Street títí tí ìwọ́de ó fi parí sí Paris Trafalgar Square tó bá wá di ọjọ́ 13 ọjọ́ kẹtàdínà pẹ̀lú Ìgbòho láwọn máa ṣàbẹ̀wò lọ sí ìlú Manchester gan fún ẹ̀kúnrẹ́rẹ́ àlàyé síwájú sí i tàbí láti dá sí ètò ìfọlọ́ntírìlì ẹ lè pè tàbí kẹ́ WhatsApp Ọláyọmí Kóìkì lórí +447 594 050 979 Kẹ́hìndé Ìjàdùbí lórí +447 570 320 030 Ṣọlá kò gbúdọ̀ kú lórí +353 863 375 537 bákan náà ní ẹ lè kàn sí Tóyìn Ọláoyè lórí +447 896 018 764 lápapọ̀ ọmọ Yorùbá àgbáyé pátápátá YSDN pẹ̀lú Yorùbá World Media Home and Diaspora àti gbogbo ìkànnì mìíràn tó ń sọ̀rọ̀ sókè fún ìjàǹgbara ọmọ Yorùbá. Ní àwọn ẹgbẹ́ ìfẹ́lọ́dún àpapọ̀ ọmọ Yorùbá ṣe ń kí ọmọ aládìkú wípé ẹ kú ọdún ẹ kú ìyèdún a sì ń ṣàmọ́dún sẹ̀mí ìtayà tọmọ. Yorùbá World Media tó ń kéde lórúkọ gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá pátápátá.
Koikimedia, we bringing the world closer to your doorstep.
Koikimedia, 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 we bringing the world closer to your doorstep.
Koikimedia, 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 we bringing the world closer to your doorstep.
Àwọn sálára àgbà yìí dá, àwa ló láṣà àti èdè. Gbígbédè lárugẹ nílẹ̀ Oòduà o, àwa gangan ni bàbá.
Koikimedia, 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 we bringing the world closer to your doorstep.
They never sabi wetin we carry for her.
But they move closer before they go sabi.
I said they never know wetin we carry for body.
But they move closer before they go sabi.
Ọ̀kín lọ lọ́jà ẹyẹ, ìníhùn ló ló lajú.
Ẹyẹ tó dorí kodò bí àdán, wọ́n pẹ̀jẹ̀ lẹ́nu.
Ká ṣiṣẹ́ fún ilẹ̀ bàbá wa, ká ṣiṣẹ́ fún ìlú bàbá wa, ká jùmọ̀ sowọ́pọ̀ ká lè tó dúdú àga.
Odùduwà kò bá lè gbé wa.
Ọmọ Odùduwà ṣègìrì, ẹ dìde fún ẹ̀tọ́ adúláwọ̀, ká lè jọ jùmọ̀ gbé délẹ̀ ìlérí, ká wálé gba ògo ilẹ̀ wa, ká ṣiṣẹ́ ká lè jọ gbàdé, ká lè gbàdé adé adúláwọ̀, àwa ni mọ̀lẹ̀ tí yóò tàn káàkiri.
Pé ọmọ Odùduwà ni wá.
Koikimedia, àwa là ń gbé tó lárugẹ.
Ètò tó pọ̀jù owó tí wàá máa ní.
Kásá ẹgbẹ́ polówó ọjà wá kájé bùgbà yín jẹ.
Ètò tó pọ̀jù owó tí wàá máa ní.
À ń gbé tó lárugẹ, à ń gbàsà lárugẹ.
Ètò tó pọ̀jù owó tí wàá máa ní.
News and sports ẹ máa rí gbọ́.
Ètò tó pọ̀jù owó tí wàá máa ní.
Ọmọ Ìjẹ̀bú Alárẹ̀mí ló ní kí n máa ké tantan. Koikimedia ọ̀rọ̀ lágbájúmọ̀ mi o, máa bá ṣẹ̀rẹ̀ lọ o. Ọmọ Yorùbá nìyẹn, ọmọ Yorùbá tata o. À ń gbádùn rẹ, ọmọ Ìjẹ̀bú Alárẹ̀mí, ṣẹ́yìn lọ máa fi dìbò tẹ̀ mọ́lẹ̀ o. Ẹ̀yin lọ́mọ onígbò máa ń dé máa dé máa dé, ẹ̀yin lọ́mọ onígbò máa wọ̀ máa wọ̀ àjòjì ò gbọ́dọ̀ wọ àjòjì tó bá wọ bẹ́ẹ̀ á bẹ̀rẹ̀ ní ẹbọra. Ẹ̀yin lọ máa náwó kóyìnbó tó dé ìgbà tó yìnbó dé o owó náà dẹ́ tún pọ̀ sí o Koiki Media ṣàwa ní bàbá. Koiki Media àwọn ní bàbá.
Koiki Media àwọn ní bàbá.
Àdáńtọ́ àtúnpèrègèdè.
Koiki Media àwọn ní bàbá.
Àwa là ń gbétò lárugẹ jẹ́ ká jọ gbọ́ o.
Koiki Media àwọn ní bàbá.
Àtúnjàfẹ́tọ̀ ilẹ̀ wa fẹ́tọ̀ ilẹ̀ Yorùbá.
Koiki Media àwọn ní bàbá.
Ọmọ Òdùwà ni wá o tọkàntọkàn.
Koiki Media àwọn ní bàbá.
Ikú tí ó ṣe bí lébi òsì àdìmú bàbá iyọ̀.
Koiki Media àwọn ní bàbá.
We bring you up closer to your doorstep.
Koiki Media àwọn ní bàbá.
Afẹ́fẹ́ tó ń fẹ́ o tó ń kan kí oko lára ni.
Koiki Media àwọn ní bàbá.
Àpèrègèdè Olódùmarè ló fún wa ṣe.
Koiki Media àwọn ní bàbá.
Gbogbo ayé ẹ gbọ́ àwa ní bàbá o.
Koiki Media àwọn ní bàbá.
Ẹ máa bọ̀ wá ẹ gbé polówó ọjà yín wá o.
Koiki Media àwọn ní bàbá.
Odùduwà lágbèdá ní òtítọ́ lágbèdá ní.
Koiki Media àwọn ní bàbá.
A kì í sọ̀dálẹ̀ a kì í sọdí kẹta.
Koiki Media àwọn ní bàbá.
Àdúró tán a tún pèrègèdè.
Koiki Media àwọn ní bàbá.
Koiki Media we bring you up closer to your doorstep.
Àwọn ní bàbá.
Koiki Media is around.
To give us latest.
Is around o.
Give us latest.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Ẹ mú kalẹ̀ sílẹ̀, ẹ tẹ́tí ẹ gbọ́ ètò tó kojú gbogbo.
ladies and gentlemen,
Ẹ mú kalẹ̀ sílẹ̀, ẹ tẹ́tí ẹ gbọ́ ètò tó kojú gbogbo.
Koiki Media is around.
To give us latest.
Koiki Media.
wàhálà olùlọ́jọ́ kọkànlá oṣù kẹwàá ṣe fẹ́ gbọ́. ọjọ́ tó ń sọjọ́ ìbí ọmọ aládìkún olóyè Sunday májàsọ́lá àdìsá ọmọ adéyẹmọ aka ìgbòho òòṣà nípa bí gbogbo àwọn ọmọ ẹgbẹ́ ìfẹ́lọ́dún àpapọ̀ yorùbá lágbàáyé lábẹ́ ààrẹ wa ọmọọba adébáyọ̀ faládé ti gbákejì ààrẹ mọ́kẹ́hìndé gíadùnbí kentos tí ń ṣe ìrọ́kẹ̀kẹ̀ ìgbáradì níbàámu pẹ̀lú ìfẹ́ àti ẹ̀mí ìforihàn lágbèkalẹ̀ àyẹ́sí ọjọ́ ìbí ìgbòho fún tọdún yìí pẹ̀lú àkọlé dinner with ìgbòho. bákan náà làwọn ọmọ gba ọba ògbóni àgbáyé lálejò tajudeen ọlárẹwájú àjàlá àti bàbá adésọjí tàlàbí àwòrò ṣàṣà eégún mọ̀gájí nílùú London láti wá ṣe àyẹ́sí fún olóyè ìgbòho lọ́jọ́ náà tí ó wáyé nínú gbọ̀ngàn ńlá ní London Kensington 179 to 199 Holland Park Avenue London W114UL United Kingdom bẹ̀rẹ̀ látago 7 ìrọ̀lẹ́ ẹlẹ́lẹ́dago 12 òru. bákan náà láti ń kí wa kú ìmúrasílẹ̀ ìwọ́de làmìlaka tẹgbẹ̀lẹ́gbẹ̀ ènìyàn tí ó wáyé nílùú ọba 1 million rally in London lọ́jọ́ 12 oṣù kẹwàá ó jẹ́ ọjọ́ kejì dínà pẹ̀lú ìgbòho léyìí tó láyọ̀mí kóìkì àti bàbá wa gbẹ̀dú ọmọ ṣàkóso ẹ̀ lọ́ọ̀kan ọ̀jọ̀kan àwọn àlàkalẹ̀ ìrọ̀rùn. bàbá ṣe máa fi ọkọ̀ àjàgbé ńlá ní London route bus gbé àwọn àgbààgbà àti àwọn abarapá gbogbo láti BBC in Oxford Street títí tí ìwọ́de ó fi parí sí Paris Trafalgar Square tó bá wá di ọjọ́ 13 ọjọ́ kẹtàdínà pẹ̀lú ìgbòho láwọn máa ṣàbẹ̀wò lọ sí ìlú Manchester gan. fún ẹ̀kúnrẹ́rẹ́ àlàyé síwájú sí i tàbí láti dá sí ètò ìfọlọ́ntírìlì ẹ lè pè tàbí kẹ́ WhatsApp ọláyọmí kóìkì lórí +447 594 050 979 kéde ìjàdùbí lórí +447 570 320 030 ṣọlá kò gbúdọ̀ kú lórí +353 863 375 537 bákan náà ní ẹ lè kàn sí tóyìn ọláoyè lórí +447 896 018 764 lápapọ̀ ọmọ yorùbá àgbáyé pátápátá YSDN pẹ̀lú yorùbá world media home and diaspora àti gbogbo ìkànnì mìíràn tó ń sọ̀rọ̀ sókè fún ìjàǹgbara ọmọ yorùbá. ní àwọn ẹgbẹ́ ìfẹ́lọ́dún àpapọ̀ ọmọ yorùbá ṣe ń kí ọmọ aládìkún wípé ẹ kú ọdún ẹ kú ìyèdún a sì ń ṣàmọ́dún àṣàmọ́dún sẹ́ẹ̀mí ìtayà tọmọ. yorùbá world media tó ń kéde lórúkọ gbogbo ọmọ yorùbá pátápátá.
Fún ilé ìgbò.
kẹwàá ṣe fẹ́ gbọ́. ọjọ́ tó ń sọjọ́ ìbí ọmọ aládìkún olóyè Sunday májàsọ́lá àdìsá ọmọ adéyẹmọ aka ìgbòho òòṣà nípa bí gbogbo àwọn ọmọ ẹgbẹ́ ìfẹ́lọ́dún àpapọ̀ yorùbá lágbàáyé lábẹ́ ààrẹ wa ọmọọba adébáyọ̀ fáládé ti gbàkejì ààrẹ mọ́kẹ́hìndé gíadùnbí kentos tí ń ṣe ìrọ́kẹ̀kẹ̀ ìgbáradì níbàámu pẹ̀lú ìfẹ́ àti ẹ̀mí ìforihàn lágbèkalẹ̀ àyẹ́sí ọjọ́ ìbí ìgbòho fún tọdún yìí pẹ̀lú àkọlé dinner with ìgbòho. bákan náà làwọn ọmọ gba ọba ògbóni àgbáyé lálejò tajudeen ọlárẹ̀wájú àjàlá àti bàbá adésọjí tàlàbí àwòrò ṣàṣà eégún mọ̀gájí nílùú London láti wá ṣe àyẹ́sí fún olóyè ìgbòho lọ́jọ́ náà tí ó wáyé nínú gbọ̀ngàn ńlá ní London Kensington 179 to 199 Holland Park Avenue London W114UL United Kingdom bẹ̀rẹ̀ látago 7 ìrọ̀lẹ́ ẹlẹ́lẹ́dago 12 òru. bákan náà láti ń kí wa kú ìmúrasílẹ̀ ìwọ́de làmìlaka tẹgbẹ̀lẹ́gbẹ̀ ènìyàn tí ó wáyé nílùú ọba 1 million rally in London lọ́jọ́ 12 oṣù kẹwàá ó jẹ́ ọjọ́ kejì dínà pẹ̀lú ìgbòho léyìí tó OLAYOMI KOIKI àti bàbá wa gbẹ̀dú ọmọ ṣàkóso ẹ̀ lú ọ̀kan ọ̀jọ̀kan àwọn àlàkalẹ̀ ìrọ̀rùn. bàbá ṣe máa fi ọkọ̀ àjàgbé ńlá ní London route bus gbé àwọn àgbààgbà àti àwọn abarapá gbogbo láti BBC in Oxford Street títí tí ìwọ́de ó fi parí sí Paris Trafalgar Square tó bá wá di ọjọ́ 13 ọjọ́ kẹtàdínà pẹ̀lú ìgbòho láwọn máa ṣàbẹ̀wò lọ sí ìlú Manchester gan fún ẹ̀kúnrẹ́rẹ́ àlàyé síwájú sí i tàbí láti dá sí ètò ìfọlọ́ntírìlì ẹ lè pè tàbí kẹ́ WhatsApp OLAYOMI KOIKI lórí +447 594 050 979 Kẹ́hìndé Ìjàdùbí lórí +447 570 320 030 Ṣọlá kò gbọdọ̀ kú lórí +353 863 375 537. bákan náà ní ẹ lè kàn sí Tóyìn Ọláoyè lórí +447 896 018 764 lápapọ̀ ọmọ yorùbá àgbáyé pátápátá YSDN pẹ̀lú yorùbá world media home and diaspora àti gbogbo ìkànnì mìíràn tó ń sọ̀rọ̀ sókè fún ìjàǹgbara ọmọ yorùbá. ní àwọn ẹgbẹ́ ìfẹ́lọ́dún àpapọ̀ ọmọ yorùbá ṣe ń kí ọmọ aládìkún wípé ẹ kú ọdún ẹ kú ìyèdún a sì ń ṣàmọ́dún sẹ́ẹ̀mí ìtayà tọmọ. yorùbá world media tó ń kéde lórúkọ gbogbo ọmọ yorùbá pátápátá.
A very good evening and welcome to the live transmission. My name is OLAYOMI KOIKI. Happy new month and also happy, preparation for the big event coming up in London. First and foremost, let me bring this development that is happening right as we speak right now. Is an urgent and is also an SOS message that is coming from the Biafra government in exile under the leadership of the Prime Minister Mazi Simon Ekpa. I can confirm that Simon Ekpa has now given 24 hours for this picture in front of us, from information that we will not be able to go into all the details as I speak to you right now. But the government in exile under the leadership of Simon Ekpa goes as it goes like this. He will demand the immediate release of this Yoruba man within 24 hours, or the entire location that I will not have to mention for security reasons will be engaged from tomorrow by the Biafra Liberation Army. If you are one of those holding him, we would say it again, you need to let him out as quickly as possible. Otherwise, the Biafra Liberation Army would engage. Once again, this is a breaking news and also a very urgent information under the leadership and the exile government of the Biafra and the PM, Simon Ekpa. And like I said, we will not go into all the details, but from what I can tell you, there is still a lot of discussion that is going behind the curtain. My name is OLAYOMI KOIKI. This is just a breaking news as we now go into the full of the program. Once again, Simon Ekpa has now asked for the immediate release of this individual picture that you can see in front of you within the next 24 hours. Otherwise, the entire location will start to be engaged by the Biafra Liberation Army. Fún àǹfààní gbogbo ẹni tó bá ń gbọ́ wa, àwòrán tẹ́ ń wò níwájú wa yìí, òun náà ni arákùnrin tí intelligence sọ fún wa pé ó ti wà kidnap. Location nílé sọ fún yín, but government Biafra in government would engage the whole location after 24 hours. That is all I can tell. But like I said, there is still discussion going on behind closed door. Let's come back now into the conversation. Mo kí wa pé ẹ káalẹ́ ní gbogbo ibikíbi tí ẹ bá ti ń wò wá tí ẹ ti ń gbọ́ wá. Ẹ tún káàbọ̀ sórí ìkànnì wa tí a mọ̀ sí Koiki Media, where we bring information, where we discuss what is happening in Nigeria and how we also continue to engage the Nigerian government under the fraudulent, amalgamation that was put together by the British. We are approximately from today 41 days countdown to massive event that I can tell you iṣẹ́ lọ ní almost every day between all the coordinators, between all the organizers, and also our leader, Professor Adebanji Akitoye. Also, I can tell you that the arrangement for the rally is still ongoing. Likewise for the dinner. The dinner is open to about 150 people. It is not on selection. There is still ample of ticket that can be snapped if they were interested at £100. £100, you will be able to get access into the venue. Per ticket will be for one person. If you do not have a ticket, you will not be allowed into the venue of the dinner. It is very, very important. This dinner is open to everybody, but you would have to pay if you want to come in. And also, pay tempo, plan the journey, because the whole event was also something that we do not want it to be rowdy. Any tobani ticket, venue dinner. But when it comes to the major one that we expect every sons and daughters of Yoruba to be attending, that will be the 1 million Yoruba World Media Organization, the Felodun, the Akikojo, the YSDM, all together will be pushing for this massive event in London. Like I said, the police have already been informed. We'll be communicating with them because of the crowd control. We will also be engaging as many of us that will be interested in to volunteer. If you think that you want to volunteer, please get in touch with the organizers, Bedu, and the rest of the team that are preparing for this massive event. CSI himself will be leading this rally from the BBC. I'll be telling you everything that we need to know, the location, how to get there. All these videos have been prepared, and I'm sure some of you have seen it already. What we want you to do for us is to attend. This is the only way we can engage and tell the British government about the amalgamation, and a reminder that it was and said that since it was a project of 100 years that expired in 2014, it will be of interest that the UK listen to the Yoruba people, especially for their future security, because everybody that is in Nigeria, we do not know who is who. Many people that owns Nigerian passport and can eventually get a UK visa could be or might be a terrorist. One of them was Umar Farouk Abdul Muttalab, that wanted to blow the American airline in 2009. How many shoe bomber is currently in the UK as sleeper cells? Remember that this young man studied at the University College in London. So for us coming out on the Saturday on the 12th is to engage the British citizen and tell them the reason why we want Nigeria to also be dissolved. Because Nigeria is not one country. Nigeria is a country of many people that have been joined together in a fraudulent amalgamation. So this is something that we expect every Yoruba, regardless of your stake, regardless of your organization, regardless of your state back in Nigeria, to attend. Like I said, Dr. Chief Sunday Igboho and many other dignitaries will be flying in. Prophet Ologunlua will be flying from America. A lot of people will be flying from Canada. I can confirm that I've spoken to some more media that will be flying from different parts of the world. I am already also engaging as many other international media, which we will be telling them about the event. But like I said, they will pick the signal when they start getting the message that 1 million people are assembling from the BBC, and which is then taking us all the way through the Regent Street, back into the Trafalgar Square, right in front of number 10 Downing Street, where we also, if all goes as planned, to present a letter by Chief Sunday Igboho on behalf of Professor Adebanjo Akintoye at the number 10 Downing Street to say that the Yoruba people wants to go. So all these is something that we're going to be discussing. 41 days to this event, we expect everybody to attend as well. So mo kí gbogbo wa tí ẹ ti darapọ̀ mọ́ wa ní ìkànnì wa. This program hopefully will go about maybe 2 hours, not 3 hours as usual, because there's a lot of other things that I have to do. Mo kí wa pé ẹ káàbọ̀. Ní àkọ́kọ́ lẹ máa darapọ̀ mọ́ wa ni. You'll have to follow this platform, engage it, subscribe. Some of you have complained that you're not getting notification. There's nothing I can do to that. It would also help us as well. As we finish the week, before we dive into the discussion, the week of what we have been discussing about if and when we eventually have our own independent country, what should we expect when it comes to our foreign immigration policy? This is the final week, and that means let us touch on it as well. The reason why, many of the borders that have been left open is because nobody is protecting those borders. And that means that people fly in or walk in or go through the sea or even eventually just walk in without being questioned. But tó bá jẹ́ pé ẹ fẹ́ travel láti Benin Republic wọnú Yoruba land, tá ń pè ní Lagos or Ogun, there tend to be heavy security to stop us. But if it is the other side in Niger, it seems that everybody just walk in and walk out. Mo kí àṣà àti ìṣe ilẹ̀ Yorùbá, mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin èèyàn wa tí ẹ ti darapọ̀ mọ́ wa, mo kí bàbá wa Stephen Igboho, mo kí ẹ̀yin grandma, ẹ̀yin bàbá wa, ẹ̀yin ìyá wa, ẹ bá wa gbé ọwọ́ lé share button. The question people ask is, why do we want a Yoruba country? Kí nìdí? And there's so many reasons. We can go on and on and on and on. But the major reason why we want to be out of Nigeria is because we are not the same. And we can never be the same. There's no amount of how you want it. This country was joined together not because of anything, but because it was on a business reason. And until we engage the international community, and until we tell them that what was joined together must now be dissolved. If you do not know, it's an 18-minute video. I want to give you a snip view, and when I come back, we continue with the discussion.
Hello.
And Mrs. Carol Smith, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
May I say how delighted we are to be on Passion. We've looked forward to speaking to an African television station for decades. This is something we have looked forward to for such a long time, and we are so happy to be here.
Thank you. Mr. Aaron Smith was a young, bright, and principled Oxford University graduate who was recruited by the Colonial Office and posted to Nigeria. He took his final examination a year ahead of his class. He also married Mrs. Carol Smith, whom he met while they were both at Oxford University. Together they went to Nigeria, where they had their 2 children. Mr. Aaron Smith, you were featured in a program recently by BBC Radio 4,
yes.
Titled Document,
yes.
And that was hosted by Mr. Mike Thompson.
Yes.
You are alleged that the British government rigged the first and most important election in the history of Nigeria in 1959 in favor of the North. Am I correct?
Yes.
How long were you in Nigeria for?
From 1955 to 1960. And we were based in Lagos. I was on the staff of the Department of Labour. I was largely occupied with employment problems, all the employment exchanges, and statistics. and international reports, and was kept pretty busy. I was also stationed in Lagos in charge of the capital and the port. I was the port labour officer as well, and I also devised a port labour scheme and later a social security scheme, which was one of the first in Africa, which guaranteed workers some income after they'd finished work. It was a providence scheme. As I say, it was called the National Providence Scheme, and I was very proud to have put that on the statute book.
I was going to ask you what your role is. You've mentioned three important. Is there any particular name given to your office while you were there?
Just labour officer.
I was a labour officer, a senior civil servant.
Okay.
I only intended to stay in Lagos initially for 2 tours of duty. Although, because of this conflict with the elections, there were difficulties.
I want to bring us back out of that video because sometimes it is good to go and look for the source. At the beginning of this video, the woman was saying that, Aaron Smith, you were interviewed on the BBC, and that is, one of the biggest broadcasting network in the world, whether you like it or disagree with them, whether we might agree with everything BBC does or not. But let me take you to the source itself. Níbi tí arákùnrin ti sọ̀rọ̀ gangan. Let me take you, because I've been able to find the source. Before this interviewer also engaged with this man known as Aaron Smith. So that maybe Omo Yoruba me, or maybe an average Nigerian, I think that this man is lying. When you actually interview on the BBC Radio 4, I can tell you that I've seen the source. Whether it will play on it is what I don't know, but this is where the source is. So if you look at the background of what I'm showing you right now, this was first presented on the 1st of August 2011, known as Document. And what does it say? Mike Thompson explore Britain's role in a thwarting attempt on the lives of Joshua Nkomo and Robert Mugabe in the run-up to the Zimbabwe independence in 1980. But I believe that the one that I'm looking for is the Aaron Smith. So that shows that the BBC had a lot of series of what we can call events that took place in the past. And one of them is the one that we have been discussing, known as Aaron Smith. Aaron Smith, as we know, worked with the British during the colonial rule in Nigeria. And let's play this and let's see if something will pop up. But if not, we go back to the other one we're playing. All right. Okay, it wants me to sign in, and I'm not going to do that because that is part of how the BBC operates. So I'm not going to sign into their own website. So we're going to go back one more step and follow what Aaron Smith was telling us from the video that we were watching earlier.
Actually, government wouldn't let me leave the civil service. They were determined that I should stay in the civil service after my 2 tours. And I was offered very considerable incentives, including a knighthood, to stay and work for government. Primarily this was because I had access to state secrets. I learned, and the Governor-General himself confirmed this to me, that the elections were rigged, contrived. The intention was...
All right. I want us to take note of some of what he's saying. Why is very, very important. That the election was rigged. What election is he talking about? And why was that election rigged? We're going to come to the immigration policy that we're going to be discussing on the last day of our, discussion. And after that, we focus only on the rally and the dinner. So I want to knock this off within an hour, and we'll use the rest of the hour, for the dinner and the rally. We shall evolve the best immigration policy. But election will need Aerosmith in Soro Lilori. What election is he talking about? And why was that election rigged? Let's go back again.
That the North should rule Nigeria.
So the election was rigged so that northern part will rule Nigeria. And why was that? Was it because they were the best? Was it because they had cordial relationship more than us, the West and the South and the Middle Belt as against others? Kí ló dé tí wọ́n ṣe fún náà the preference? And today, coming back to the immigration policy, the northern part of Nigeria have seen the influx of jihadis into Nigeria. One of them was also able to study in the UK, known as Abdul Umar Farouk Abdul Talab. That was the shoe bomber. He wanted to blow up the American airline. That was in 2009. He was able to secure what we can call an engineering degree course in the UK. How did he manage to get the bomb into the airline that could have killed approximately over 280 innocent lives? As we're speaking right now, he's spending a hell of a time in American prison. And that is his face. If Britain knew that by rigging an election and allow the North, did they also, I am just only the one thinking like that, are they also aware the crisis of terrorism that is currently invading Nigeria today? Or is there something that we don't know? If we were able to have our own independent country like the United Kingdom, we can secure the borders and there will be less influx of terrorists across Yoruba land. But since the first election was rigged, the multiple election after that continue to be rigged, and we've not been able to have a stable entry of borders that is well manned and secure. That means all the borders across Nigeria have been left open for jihadis and terrorists. Let's go back to Aerosmith.
Even in '56, the northern leaders were very proud and were saying if they couldn't run Nigeria, never mind elections, they might not join Nigeria.
Even in 1956, 4 years before this election, while engagement was going on, the North were even saying that, look, ṣé dandan ni ká di Nigeria? Why the British back these fraudulent ways of allowing them to take charge is what we don't understand. And this is why we must all come out in October to prove to the British that the Yoruba can still have cordial relationship with you away from Nigeria. And we can have good ties in terms of our network, what we've done in the past, and what we can do in the near future as an independent country with Britain. But ṣé Britain might allow it is what I don't know. Time will tell. But we cannot sit back and just think that it will just evaporate. I'm talking about Nigeria. because Nigeria is not going to evaporate if Taba Gbigbe said. Àwa náà gbọ́dọ̀ gbé ìgbésẹ̀ tó pọ̀. And part of ìgbésẹ̀ tá a fẹ́ gbé òun náà ni pé on the Saturday, the 12th of the month of October, every one of us must come out so that we can also participate in this rally. Some might say that Britain is not going to do anything, but you don't throw away every diplomacy, because the power of diplomacy is just as the power of action. And that is why even you can lobby. So we cannot sit back and say because, oh, they are not going to do anything. We've done it before. They didn't do nothing. And that means we should not still engage them. Engaging is part of resolving a dispute, because right now, as we speak, Nigeria is a disputed territory that needs to be resolved. And it needs to be resolved as quickly as possible. If it's not resolved, it will create more havoc today and in the near future. So let's go back again. Erotically, Smith was telling us that the northern part of Nigeria today were not interested. They just want to run their own country or whatever they were doing during that period as they were preparing to hand over, because the preparation of the handover did not fall into the hands of the other two major ethnic indigenous groups. It only ended up in the northern part of Nigeria alone.
They might leave. And we all thought, well, how would they survive?
Now, àwọn wá ń béèrè lọ́wọ́ àwọn North pé, if you don't join this union, you will not be able to survive. How are you going to survive? And if we look at it today, and probably maybe that's the reason why Tiwo Fijeka break up. Maybe they are scared. They are worried now that, now that the advancement of the world has changed from 1956, they are now thinking, wow, there's so much wealth that we have digged all around the Yoruba land and other part of Nigeria. But the Zamfara gold remains Zamfara gold, while the crude oil in the other side can be shared among everyone. Why is it now the northern part of Nigeria does not want a dissolution or the amalgamation or the breakup or every union to go and run its own affairs? Why are they worried? Or is it because they have the larger share when it comes to the fraudulent way it has been set up? I'm talking about the sharing allocation, the formula of sharing Nigeria allocation that they've sat in there, suck it, because they are taking more than others, due to the fact that the numbers which you're going to listen into this discussion were all inflated by the British again, because the British knew that Tawoba, inflated. The first census was rigged. And that is why the North will continue to say, oh, we have the numbers, and that means we need more allocation. When you look at the total number of what we call local government today, you will realize that many parts of Nigeria, the North has the larger share. What do we do? Do we sit back and allow this to continue, or should we engage? And that is exactly what we are doing today. So, what I'm about to show you at the back when I come out now is just a quick of what was put together by Dr. Aliu at the beginning of this movement. And I'm going to just go into it, then we come out and go back into what we know Smith was telling us. And come back Mukibubua. Yoruba Nation will come, but it has to come with a lot of work and engagement and discussion, which is exactly what we are doing again tonight. At exactly 2100 hours, the first day of the month of September, my name is OLAYOMI KOIKI. Happy New Month, and I greet you all. If you're new to the platform, this platform discusses self-determination only. You can follow us on all our social media handles. And remember, in case you are not getting notification, it is because the social media are restricting us, and it's called, shadowing. Now, let's give you the background of this quickly. Path to Yoruba Nation benefit. The imposition of the 1999 fraudulent constitution. Tinubu has now been told to pull down the constitution and work its way to get a new constitution that will work for the all region. Where Tinubu Mashe, time will tell. Where Konishe, I don't know. But one thing is that the current state of the constitution, known as the 1999 constitution, it is not workable, and it is also a fraud. And I can tell you that because even this man told us exactly the same, because they are constitutional lawyers. They are also senior advocate of Nigeria that knows well better than me, because I am not a lawyer and neither do I have a legal background. But from what we have listened continuously from some of these lawyers, that there is something wrong with this constitution. And if we continue with this constitution, Nigeria is going nowhere. It will continue to go backwards. Then the question also is, if everybody knows that the constitution is a fraud, why all the Nigerian lawyers, senior advocate of Nigeria, are not allowing us to pull down from it? Remember that they are the one defending these politicians after election. So we are all in this situation, but this is how the senior advocate of Nigeria, Agbakoba, started with the constitution.
President Tinubu needs to put his best foot forward to govern the country. If he does that, in 4 years, he can turn things around. But there are certain critical things he would need to do. The first thing is to say, what's the constitution? If, for instance, me and my wife Lillian don't agree in our marriage of 45 years, then we can't do anything. So the first thing that President Tinubu would need to do is to ensure that Nigerians all agree to be one country. You recall that Bolaige asked those two questions. Do we want to be one? It's not by force. If we want to be one, how? We haven't answered those questions, which is why I told President Babi of the Senate that it has taken 23 years to solve the problem of the Constitution. And I urged him, in conjunction with President Tinubu, to resolve the Nigerian constitutional question now by inviting the owners of Nigeria. The owners of Nigeria, mark you, were those who owned Nigeria before Lugard brought his amalgamation in 1914. Call them in. These are the people who own the country, and ask them questions. What?
That is the question that everybody should be asking in Nigeria. Rather, we are being diverted about election, leadership. Do we want to be one? Why is everybody running away from this question? Why is it that the politicians do not want us to sit on the round table? Because they are not going to give us the best immigration policy. And Agbakoba is asking the Senate president, do we want to be one? But rather than the politicians to come in the round table and say, maybe we want to be one, but we need to ask the citizens. Because yesterday I was able to tell you how Eritrea, eventually after a lot of effort, gained their referendum through the United Nations We've talked about the United Nations also going through to support after the Indonesia invasion in 1975, after their declaration. We've seen how South Sudan also through referendum. So why is the Nigerian one different? Is there something so special about Nigeria that nobody wants to talk about it? October 12 is one engagement that we expect millions of us to be out on the street from the BBC so that we can ask the same question. Do we want to be one? Because if we don't want to be one, we have the right to opt out. So it is going to be at the BBC Broadcasting House. I'll be telling you all that within the next 9 minutes as we go into the second phase of the discussion. But let's move swiftly because of the time constraint.
What do you want to see of the Constitution? Because without a Constitution, we're going nowhere.
Only Bani Constitution. Okay, Tinubu wants to create a better Nigeria. How? With a constitution that is not there. Tinubu wants to make sure that every Nigerian is well secured. How? With that fraudulent constitution? These are questions that everybody should be asking our politicians, our representative from the senator.
And no one will doubt the fact that the constitution bequeathed by the military in 1999 is unsatisfactory. You can't build anything out of a weak foundation.
And this is why we are saying to Nigerians, you can't build anything out of a weak foundation. Let me take you back to, let's leave Akpabio and come out to, again, Harold Smith. Because Harold Smith was saying that the North never wanted to even be part of Nigeria. But they were worried and asking, how? How are you going to manage? So let's go back and listen to him a little bit more.
There were no industries. There's not a great deal of agriculture, some groundnuts in the north. This wasn't very practical at all. And then it was, the Governor General seemed to be thinking that the North couldn't, even if it won an election, rule Nigeria by itself. The South wouldn't stand for that. So there had to be a partner, either the Igbos in the east or the Yoruba in the west, to team up with the North. What he didn't want was for the two southern parties, the Igbo and the Yoruba, to team up to form the government, because he believed the North wouldn't tolerate that.
That is where the problem is also. To rule and run Nigeria. Why? Because the British must have smelled something. Don't allow those that call themselves the Biafra to rule Nigeria. Neither should you give room for the Yoruba. But there is now a Yoruba man in power after many years of the independence. Is he going to make any changes? And what changes should we expect from Tinubu, the current president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria? That is, if he is going to do so. Because already we have engaged him, but he did not reply. Does that mean that he's reviewing it? And what is he reviewing? Take us back to regional government that some are calling for. Pull down the constitution like the Emeka Anyako and the rest of the leaders that have visited the Asura. What actually are the expectations of Nigerians from these governments? Because economic-wise, Nigeria is going nowhere. Security-wise, immigration policy, as we have said, is going nowhere. Because Tinubu cannot manage the affairs of the country because invaders are already in and the border is still left open. So we are dealing with multiple phases of problems. But as Agbakoba is talking about constitution in the present day, we are taking you back to the 1956 when we were told that the British did not want the Southwest and the Southeast to merge and form a government. And that means we will play ìntàlẹ̀ sọ pé ọgbọ́n olè. Tẹ bá jẹ́ kí Yorùbá lọ ṣe, they will take control. Tẹ bá tẹ̀ wá lọ jẹ́ káwọn méjèèjì lọ ṣe, it will even be worse. So what we are going to do is, let's infiltrate both of them. Let's see who can work with the North, whether it's the Igbos or the Yorubas. So the British has been playing, this game, this mind game, and that is why there is still divide and rule within the country. Rather than all Nigerians to say, look, okay, we're not going to get, a true country as we want. Why not let us go separate and solve and form our own government? Separate from the entity block, don't put Nigeria. They don't want that. Because you'll be wondering why people are saying, oh, Tinubu is a nepotism, just like Buhari. Okay, then let us go and form our own self-determination government. Because by forming our own individual government, there will not be nepotism anymore. Nepotism will be out of the picture. Kò ní sí nepotism. Ọgbọ́n àrékérekè. Thank you so much for helping in the comment section. So it seems that there is something special about Nigeria that the world is interested in. As people are campaigning, the Biafras are campaigning, the Hausas are campaigning, the Yorubas are campaigning, but it seems that there is just something that is special that they don't want Nigeria to dissolve. Maybe the dissolution of Nigeria will crack their own economy. Maybe it is the selfish interest of certain countries, including Britain. What is it in there? Because on the top, the man speaking was saying that the North wanted to be on their own. They didn't want to be part of Nigeria. But Britain was like, are you serious? So we're going to go back again to Aaron Smith. Then I'm going to take you back to Agbakoba, because it was giving us an instance of countries that have dissolved because they can't live together. Their unity is breaking. But let's go back again to some of the slide here. Now, this was prior before Buhari left government. Now that Buhari has left, Tinubu is also playing the same nepotism in a country that has different ethnic and indigenous people. So we cannot blame Buhari again, but the rest of the Nigerians that are not Yorubas are saying that Tinubu, you are also playing nepotism. You have just given the Minister for Justice to a Yoruba woman. Why not give it to the Igbos? Why not give it to the Hausas, the Ijaws? But Tinubu will say, no, I can't trust them, because we have trust issue among ourselves. Because we have a situation that they have ourselves to blame, because if Tinubu gave the Minister for Justice or an Igbo, maybe they can fight against him. So the same game Tim Buhari played by making Abubakar Malami the criminal Fulani that kidnapped Nnamdi Kanu and spoke in Hausa after they brought him back on a rendition from Kenya to Nigeria in Hausa language to the press. So today, we have the Chief of Army Staff, Lagbaja. There's no longer Major General Farouk Yahya anymore. That means Tinubu is playing the nepotism card. Then why not let everybody go their separate ways, so that there will not be who will become our Chief of Staff, who will become our this and our that, who will become our Chief of Naval Staff, Director of Intelligence is no longer Yusuf Magaji Bichi, because he resigned. So Tinubu now thought, why would I want to give it to another person that is not Yoruba? Because he cannot trust the others. So he has decided to use a Yoruba man for that position. And that goes on and on and on. But what I want us to remember is that we can no longer be talking about, oh, we are no longer in control of custom. Colonel Ahmed has not become the custom general anymore. We now have a Yoruba man there, but we are having issues bringing goods from Benin Republic into Nigeria. But there is no issue getting goods from Niger to Sokoto and Kano. So you wonder that, I believe we should have a bit of relief. Many Yorubas cannot even send cars from abroad anymore because of the exchange rate. We can no longer say that, oh, the Hausas control Apapa because Yoruba ló wà níbẹ̀ lénìí. Again, the Controller General of Immigration. These are the reason why Yoruba people were happy at the beginning of the tenure of Tinubu last year. Adúpẹ́ f'Ọlọ́run, we now have a Yoruba immigration. But do you know that we have the borders that is not well defended? And that is what Baba Akintoye said, and I quote, "We shall evolve the best immigration policy because even though the Yoruba controls the immigration today, it has not helped the situation on ground. And that is why Yorubas must think that as soon as Tinubu completes his tenure, the North will remove all these individuals and they will replace it again with the Fulanese. Already, Tinubu cannot protect the borders. Yet, imagine after the tenure of Tinubu, even if the Yoruba man is doing all his best, trying to resolve the immigration, making sure Nigerians can have access to their passport, whether in the diaspora, whether in the Nigeria, whether in Africa. But remember that he will not be able to do the same thing to Batisheton after the government is going to change. Because Tinubu changed everybody to bring his own people in, known as nepotism. But there's nothing wrong in that. But the rest of Nigerians are not happy. Because they're wondering that, Shey Yoruba nìkan ló ní brain to run the immigration. But Tinubu said, I can't trust any other person more than my own people. Then why not let us go and form our own government and we have only our own people? Kí ló dé tá a ṣe fẹ́ lọ form new government so that we have it as there will not be, the Biafra say, oh, it's only Yoruba in Bati. Everybody will just be on their lane with border control where we can secure the borders. And we will still allow them to live among us, just like the citizens of the European Union continue to live amicably and work in the UK even after the exit of the BRICS. Let's go further. Again, headquarters of institution in Nigeria has always been in the north. Is it possible that Tinubu brings them back? And then is it going to be possible that the next government will not take it back? So you can see the game. Tinubu ló wà níjọba nísìn. The Nigerian Defense Academy in Kaduna, would that be brought back to Ibadan? And what happened after Tinubu leave office? Are they going to take it back to Kaduna as well? Maybe it is time that we divide and share whatever we are meant to share so that everybody has their own path. Rather than have the whole Nigerian Defense Academy in Kaduna right now, split it to 3 and take one to the southwest and let one to be in the middle part of the southeast. The Nigerian Police Academy should no longer be in Kano. We might as well divide it to 3. These are the institutions that needs to start breaking into units so that by the time Nigeria breaks away, nobody will be paying. We will have our own Defense Academy, but we will not call it Nigerian Defense Academy in the near future. It will only be known as Yoruba Police Academy, where police will not intimidate you, as I was almost going to be intimidated at number 10 Downing Street, but I'm sure the officer was just playing stupidity. The Nigerian University Commission is in Abuja. Break it to 3. The National Board of Technical Education is also in Kaduna. Break it to 3. The National Commission for the College of Education is in Kaduna. Break it to 3. I am sure the law school has relocated to Abuja, but they still have almost everything run from Lagos. Now, Nigeria is retarding our progress and our development. We have many problems why we say we don't want to be Nigerians and we want to have our own country. First is the insecurity, the Fulani militant, armed robbery, abject poverty. Nigeria remains the world poverty capital. Massive looting of public treasury, mismanagement of public funds, ethnic religious crisis, subjugation, marginalization, bribery, corruption, nepotism, like I've said earlier, and favorism. The 4th most deadliest terrorist group in the world, the Fulani X-Men. These are the people that we are joking with. These people will make sure that they fight to the end. And if you're not aware of that, let me quickly show us a video that I picked up. But let's listen back to Agbakoba as he's explaining to us why it is now important that Nigeria is divided so that everybody goes their separate way. My name is OLAYOMI KOIKI. If you're new to the platform, it is called the Self-Determination Platform, where we discuss and review why Yoruba people must exit. But the most important thing is continue to share the program, invite your friends and others so that everybody understands that Nigeria foundation that has been faulty is not longer holding. The center has collapsed. Nigeria remains a failed country and it won't change anything. So all these countries, including Nigeria, as you can see, in 1960, were part of the British Empire for over 200 years. The last empire is Nigeria, and it is time now that we allow it to dissolve amicably. Dissolution is not calling for war. Dissolution is just saying that we've had enough and things are falling apart. Bear with me, and I think we have that back.
The economic development policy of President Tinubu, the political development policy of President Tinubu, and everything else he wants to do rests on a very solid foundation. So let him immediately resolve that. How can we spend 23 years looking for a foundation for building a house? Does that make sense to anybody? So that's my number one issue. We need to resolve this issue of, do we want to be one? And mark you, the flip side of the question is that we mustn't be one, because Yugoslavia, which was 6 countries under Marshal Tito, when he died, decided to break apart. And today, a lot of them are very strong countries: Macedonia, Croatia, Slovenia, Slovakia. They're all doing well. So there is no sacrosanctity about Nigeria being one country. There's none. I personally would wish for Nigeria to be one country, but we must agree. Now that is the problem. Because we have not agreed, and because the National Assembly has appropriated to itself the all-knowing wisdom of giving us a constitution, that is the weakness.
We have problems in the land, and the problems, I want to say this, I might be off the cuff, is because of our constitution.
Again, let's listen to another brilliant constitutional lawyer, Chief Olanipekun. We have just listened to one, but before we go further to listen to Chief Olanipekun, I was getting another video ready at the background. Orúkọ mi ni OLAYOMI KOIKI, níbi tí ilé-iṣẹ́ ti ń sọ̀rọ̀ láti jàjà fún òmìnira àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá. In tá à ń ṣe níbí báyìí, òun ni láti educate àwọn Yorùbá and prepare. I told you that the immigration policy, Tinubu have not been able to resolve it, and this is a proof and evidence. Let's listen to this.
والجهاد بإذن الله تعالى. الله أكبر. هذا بلو والجهاد. الله أدرتامو تاغوتا نيجيريا من كيسو. الله أكبر والجهاد بإذن الله تعالى. الله أكبر. Nigeria, Allah adirtamu, Allahu Akbar. Allah adirtamu, daguta Nigeria, kariyamku, samuka kariyamku. Allahu Akbar. Allah ba mu nasara, Allah azamu kansu. Annabi Muhammadu. Allahu Akbar. Ayyuna zama. Kai ayane mun yi da bidiyo mana a gane dai an ci nazara an gode ma Allah. Muna godiya. Allah ubangiji ya kare. Ku tada mai wuta, ku sa mai wuta, ku sa mai wuta, ku sa mai wuta. A kwane shi. Annabi Muhammad. A sa mai wuta. A sa mai wuta don Allah, a sa mai wuta. حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل. الله أكبر.
These are the future and present jihadis. This is not an old video. And that is just for Ayomo Yoruba, just to understand the magnitude of what we are dealing with and what we should be expecting. This is the reason why Baba Akintoye said, in our own new country, we shall evolve the best immigration policy. And that is why you must be out to say to the world that these are also individuals. By the time they change their outfit, you will not know they are the same people with a Nigerian passport. They can apply for an American visa, the UK visa, Australian visa, Canadian visa, and they will end up like the one we told you earlier, Abdul Mukhtar. This video is not fake, dotted. Yorubas, wake up before it is too late. There is a lot to do, and part of what to do is to engage and discuss. Yes, it might be too much. You need action. Action on and don't let us play stupidity as if we don't know what is happening. I'm coming back again.
Also, Nigeria is not operating any constitution known to honesty, entrenched in group hate, brought about by unanimity of the people, acceptable to federalism, and again, that is also, we also have that problem in the judiciary because of the Nigerian situation. We have a unitary system. That's what we run. Hydra-headed. Don't let us pretend. And I'm telling it over and over. And I'm continuing to say it. And that unitarism has also created into the judiciary. Today, the entire Nigerian judiciary is unitarized. The Supreme Court is federal. Federal Court of Appeal, the Court of Appeal is federal. Federal High Court is federal. FCT is federal. National Industrial Court is federal. Customary Court of Appeal of the Federal High Court is federal. Sharia Court of Appeal of the Federal Court is federal. All jurisdictions that the Kayode judges of this world, that the Okutas of this world, that the Belos of this world, when they want their respective high courts exercised, making the law profound, succulent, rich, exciting, they are now vested in the different federal high courts or federal courts. We're talking of how to reform the system. There is no justification in the state, in a nation like Nigeria, purporting to practice federalism, where even the Supreme Court to be overburdened with unnecessary jurisdiction in respect of land matters from Yoruba land, respect of divorce, respect of family matters, citizenship matters. How do they know? I don't want us to be deceiving ourselves. Assuming I'm even appointed to the Supreme Court today, I'm above the age, but assuming, and I'm sitting there, and you bring a matter on appeal in respect of Kanuri native law and custom, or Igbo native law and custom, or Igbo land tenure system, and I sit there, and I'm writing judgment. I'm a Yoruba man. What do I do about that? Those kind of cases to start at the state, either Court of Appeal or Supreme Court. Go to the United States of America. This state has its own Supreme Court. We are running into trouble. We are inching there, and time is not in our favor. And I'm not tickled by what the national assembly. They are not being fair to themselves. They are not being fair to us. They claim to amend the Constitution. What are they amending? And I want to repeat it. You amend something that is not amendable. When you want to amend the Constitution, by the way, relative, where do you start? You start from the preamble. With the people. Oh yes, they have to amend it. Why are they running away from it? If they cannot amend the preamble, if the preamble is not amendable, then it means the Constitution is not amendable. Come on, they have to start from it. Do you start reading your letter from the back page? Do you? No, they have to start from the preamble. That means the preamble is fake. We the people, who are the we? Where did we meet? And why can't we do it? I'm studying the constitutions of the world. And I say this also with every sense of humility. There is no constitution that is near as fake, near as deceitful, near as make-believe in nature and in content as the constitution, as what we call the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended.
If the Constitution maintains by Section 2 that Nigeria is one indissoluble nation and doesn't provide for means or procedure by which a people or a particular sector of the nation, a federating people, can choose to say at this particular point we want to have a nation of our own, and it doesn't provide for a peaceful means by which this can be guaranteed, there will always be frictions.
Now, I want us to listen to lawyer Lekan Adegoke, another senior advocate of Nigeria. You are not giving room, a small window, because if you sit in an aircraft, there is this small little window. If you are also lucky to sit next to the window, you can peep through when the plane is traveling into over 35,000 feet up there. At least you can see what is happening within the sky. But Nigerian government think that, oh, we're not going to put anything that allows you to go. We are not going to allow you to go. What you're doing is you're preparing the burial of that country. The video you're watching behind is just telling us how to get to the BBC broadcasting house, where we will all be meeting on the 12th of October 2024, when we will be welcoming Dr. Chief Sunday Igboho. And also for those of us that want to have a dinner with him at £100 per ticket, get in touch with all the organizers so that you can be able to have the time. In terms of Tinubu must now, before it is too late, do something. Because already, the Biafrans are not going to listen. They need that little window to engage out of Nigeria without any confrontation. But Tinubu is not giving the room. The Arewa are waking up, the Ijos are waking up, likewise the Yorubas. The country is currently under a pressure, and if care is not taken, things will go the other way around. Let's listen back to Lekan Adegoke.
Leading to violence, killings, and bloodshed. And to avoid this, it is imperative that we look at that provision of Section 2 that says that Nigeria is one indissoluble, indestructible entity that doesn't make provision for the procedure by which a people can advance the right to self-determination.
And that is where the problem is. You can't say that people do not have the right to self-determination. You can. Not in this present day and age world that we are living, to say, oh, self-determination. No. You can't be talking about self-determination, because Nigeria is not a country that can be broken to pieces when we are not one. But there's an evidence that other countries
were refused at first, but we have to remember, and this is a really important point, that self-determination is an inalienable international right and a law as well. And other countries will recognise Scotland's democratic choice expressed at the ballot box. They will recognise that, because that is the route that many other countries have taken in order to become independent. And just to make that point, that international law is very pragmatic on that point. So we should have...
So why are we having difficulty with Nigeria? If the Scottish people were given the opportunity in 2014 to decide whether they want to be part of the United Kingdom, why are we not given the same opportunity in Nigeria? than then say, oh, Nigeria is going to be one and we must remain one. How? Who make that decision?
There have been many occasions where, on so many occasions we hear from the Arewa People's Congress or whatever agitating that yes, if Nigeria cannot work, they want to go on their own. The Biafra agitators are there. We have the Odua nation and whatever.
So 3 people are now speaking up. The Yoruba, the Arewa, the Biafra. Then what is it, or how is that so difficult? This program ends in the next 40 minutes at exactly 2 hours. So after this, then I will I've done, a little bit over my time because we should have done 1 hour with the presentation and 1 hour for the dinner and the rally. But as you can see behind you, Oxford Circles, 3 train stations, Victoria Line, Bekelu Line, and the Central Line. And the direction is a video that is already circulated on all our social media handles.
If the Constitution provides for a procedure to determine peacefully whether a people can separate from Nigeria, you see that some of these agitations might be completely quenched. For instance, let me give you one. Tomorrow night,
maybe Tinubu should just give a go-ahead for that. Allow people to decide. But Tinubu says that is not his own focus now. He wants to stabilize a failed economy.
Now, if we provide for referendum or plebiscite, these are political procedures for determining whether a nation or a nation in a country, because I want to take the definition of a nation here to mean the ethnic.
Listen to a senior advocate of Nigeria, Nigerians that argue that Nigeria is a country. Because you need to first identify the meaning of a country. What do you understand? Maybe this legal analyst expert will help every one of us. Because people know the truth that this country is not a country. Is it a country? Are you sure?
There is no land called Nigeria. There is no language called Nigeria. There are no people called Nigerians. We are only deceiving ourselves.
We are not Nigerian.
Okay, where is Nigeria? Where is the land called Nigeria? What is the Nigerian language? We are nations that had been forced together to live in one pathetic country. So anybody who goes there today to say pray for Nigeria, that person is just deceiving himself, because the people who want to be that Nigeria had not sat down to agree if they want to be Nigeria.
Why then wouldn't you want to join this rally? You can see the direction on the map behind you, and you can see the tall building with this arrow spell, which is a church. Behind it is the BBC. BBC News. What an interesting time to be alive, to witness. I didn't know how Soviet Union collapsed. I just read about it. I didn't know how Yugoslavia collapsed. But are you not excited to know how Nigeria is going to collapse? How many people is excited? Let's see in the comment section. You know, are excited to witness, the collapse of Nigeria, because we've heard about the Soviet Union, we've heard about the Yugoslavia. How many? I'm excited. I'm going to be very excited to see the collapse of Nigeria. How many people also will be excited? And it will happen in our lifetime, regardless of what anybody says, regardless of whoever believes it or not. I can't wait to see the back end of Nigeria, so that we can then start using it as a case study. How? Imagine I should start discussing how we collapse Nigeria. That should be my discussion in the new year, after the collapse of Nigeria by the end of this year. So that we can start discussing how, when that country was there, the Biafra were doing this way, the Arewa was doing this way. They were even saying that the Yorubas were not ready, but we just cornered them like corner kick. And there's some corner kick. You don't know whether it's going to become a goal until the ball is going and going and going and somebody just, the end of Nigeria is moving slowly. And it will finally collapse, God's will, with everybody's effort. Like I said, don't be scared. It will happen. And it's going to happen very, very fast. So you can see behind me where I finally touched into the BBC ground, where we have been reviewing how you also should participate. So I'm going to first release the audio from there so that we can listen at the beginning again, and then I come back. House is the BBC broadcasting house, and that literally traveling. And from there, I will join the underground. From the underground, I'll be coming up at the Oxford Circus. So follow me with the journey. And if it's Olukalukuba Timbo, so in my bole ni 7 Sisters, Latino Bosori, London Underground, heading towards the BBC broadcasting house. So Olukaluku ni journey bitotima connect, but internet gongoni the Victoria line to my BD Oxford Circus. Next station. Victoria line, Owulode Oxford Circus at the central line. So, like I said, if you take me to first joining Victoria Station, Lele, Olukaluku might join from different areas. So I'll be heading towards the down to connect the train. Mutin Losinu on the ground, maybe to joining Victoria line to my BD Oxford Circus. Then consider Victoria line here, you can train see my joint. So that is the Oxford Circus. If you can ball the leg, the cable line there, the central line. Only Mulati Victoria, then Tumbo Lati Brixton, subject to the Tumbo. So that is exactly DBT at the ball leg. So you can ball the rally day on the 12th of October 2024. We want to play Oxford Circus. So this is the Victoria line. We don't want to see Brixton today. So if you say that the football and the Toban ball, that's already Victoria line here. You're gonna go all the way through, and then you will come down somewhere. Yeah, so that's my bullet today. Oxford Circus. So I'm gonna go inside. Like I said, if you can meet Gongon or woman coming out to Oxford Circus, Lori Victoria line. How I can go from Ladi on Saturday, 12th of October 2024. Like I said, so it's them body leg. So that's the Oxford Circus, over the Victoria line, Dekelu line, or that of the central line. What they name Oxford Circus, which is the final destination between to connecting the BBC broadcasting house. So I'm going to come out of the station in the next few minutes, but for now, we're coming to Oxford Circus. Oxford Circus, well, central line, the Kedu line as well. Very important. Then go for rally, Oxford Circus, then you will then come straight into the Regent Street South, exit 5, near Egbajade. Once again, going to the rally on the 12th of October 2024. Èyí tẹ́ bá ti bọ́lẹ̀ jáde nínú train station lórí Oxford Circus. Ẹ rántí pé train mẹ́ta ló débẹ̀, Bekelu line, Central line àti Victoria line. Ẹ ní láti rántí pé Nike Town building ẹgbẹ́ lè máa gbà kọjá. Èyí tẹ́ ń bọ̀ lórí bus yẹn, bus stop kan wà níbẹ̀ yẹn tí ẹ ti lè bọ́lẹ̀ depending on ibi tẹ́ bá ti bọ̀ máa ṣàlàyé bus yẹn fún yín láìpẹ́. But ẹ má get confused, ó wà straightforward. You come out of the station. Then you look at the Nike Town building, and then you walk towards this side, and that is exactly what we expect everybody to do on the day. Around Dokpadeni Iwaju building here, Ibelatimawa Gbera, exactly 10 o'clock. Iyenijo Saturday 12. Eranti Egbe Nike Lemari Koja Legbe. Feyinteba train is just about 2-minute walk. But Feyinteba bus màá ṣọ́ àwọn bọ́ọ̀sì yẹn fún yín tá bá déwájú bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn nísìn àwọn bọ́ọ̀sì tí ó gba wájú bíbá ìkọjá tí ẹ ti máa bọ́lẹ̀ tí ẹ máa wá rin èyí tó kù lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí Regent Street ló connect the dot BBC building yẹn la ti ń wò lọ́nkàn yẹn tó dàbí glass yẹn lókè níbi tí pointer yẹn wà lórí ẹ̀ lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí fún àwa tá à ń bọ̀ fún rally ní Saturday the 12th of October. So now mo mọ bí tó olúkálukú ti máa wá but tẹ́ bá wo wájú yín ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ń bọ̀ láti south east ẹ rí pé bus 12 ó gbé yín déwájú ibi báyìí bus 22 bus 88 bus 453 ó dẹ̀ ní night bus nídìí yẹn so 4 bus stop tẹ́tí máa bọ́lẹ̀ ló ń pè ní Oxford Circus Station Margaret Street with the code RF tá bá wo ibi táwọn buses yẹn ti ń bọ̀ ó máa dé Oxford Circus which is the final stop lórí bus 12 yẹn ń bọ̀ láti Dulwich Library bus 88 yẹn ń bọ̀ láti Clapham Common then bus 453 yẹn ń bọ̀ láti Deptford Bridge fẹ́yìntẹ́ ń bọ̀ láti àdúgbò yẹn lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí ẹ wá bọ́lẹ̀ ní ibiba then we're gonna walk towards this side which is gonna lead us to the Ibitatima connect to BBC so you go toward this side. So yẹn yan wa tí ẹ máa wá fún ìkéde rally tí à ń polongo ní October 12 lágbára Ọlọ́run. So this is the BBC broadcasting house tí gbogbo wa ti máa gbéra láti bíbá tàmáwá máa lọ towards Trafalgar Square títí dé Downing Street then títí dé the Nigerian High Commission. Ẹ má gbàgbé building tẹ́ ń bọ̀ lélẹ̀ kò ń ṣe BBC mi o BBC lè tí ó close mọ́ Oxford Circus train station Oxford Circus ó bá àwa Central Line Victoria Line àti Bekelu Line that is the train station tó máa gbé wa débi báyìí lágbára Elédùmarè kí gbogbo akájọ pàdé kájọ fi ẹ̀dùn ọkàn wa wọ̀n pé Nigeria needs to be de-amalgamated. Self-determination is not a crime, it's an inalienable right, and that right must be respected by the federal government and the United Nations. Mo kí Àṣàkẹ́ TV show, mo kí ẹ̀yin tí ẹ darapọ̀ mọ́ wa ní àṣálẹ́ àti gbogbo ibi tí ẹ ti ń gbọ́ ohùn mi, mo kí gbogbo wa, mo kí gbogbo àwọn media as well for the great job that we are doing, and I say happy new month once again. We are just about 27 minutes to the end of the program, and more discussion about the rally and all that will be the next couple of days and weeks ahead. 41 days before that. Let's go back and finish listening to the constitutional lawyer, Lekan Agbakoba, telling us that nobody should tell us that Nigeria cannot be dissolved. Nigeria can and will be dissolved. And like I say, many of you say you're also going to be excited to see the back end of the British Empire.
Nationalities, maybe the Yoruba nation, the Igbo nation, the Arewa nation, or Ijo, Ibiobio, and what have you. Now, if a people can be entitled to right to call for plebiscite that can be supervised by international organs like the United Nations and what have you, it can be safely and easily determined.
That is exactly what I've explained, that Tinubu just need to give access to referendum and let the UN conduct it. The UN has been able to conduct successfully referendum in the past. Nigeria will not be different. Do not let anybody tell you that Nigeria will stay and it's one. We are not one. We are nations, and those nations are ready to build a better security, immigration policy, and as many industry to compete with the innovation and also the world that is waiting for every single one of us.
That's okay. These people in this particular area has done in 1960, in 1959-60, if my recollection is right, with the people of the southern part of Cameroon, who formed part of Nigeria before, but when they decided that no, they wanted to be on their own, then a plebiscite was conducted, and they were able to have a separate nation of their own. If we say Nigeria is an indissoluble entity, and will not tolerate any agitation by which people can determine whether they want to be on their own. Definitely, we are only calling for crisis on our own earth. Tomorrow now, if you subject it to plebiscite, that okay, people of the Igbo nation should decide whether they want to be part of Nigeria or they want to have a nation of their own. You might find a situation that the majority may say they prefer to be in Nigeria rather than having a Biafra. And that will silence the people who are agitating. And if people who are agitating are in the majority by virtue of the plebiscite, why not allow such to just take place peacefully, so that there is no sense in remaining one single entity by force that may lead to bloodshed and what.
I hope you're listening. Anytime better for action, the action will come at the appropriate time. You can hear the lawyer saying that there will be bloodshed. At least I am not the one saying it anymore. You've heard him saying it, that there will be bloodshed. Let's rewind it.
In the majority by virtue of the plebiscite, why not allow such to just take place peacefully, so that there is no sense in remaining one single entity by force.
There is no sense. You want to force people to remain in one entity, and you say there will not be blood. Blood will flow. But we are trying to avoid blood to flow. But the politicians are not listening. They are not engaging. They are more interested about we prepare for election 2027. I'm cutting Mumbai Southwest Soro. That's what they are more interested. But the lawyer is telling you that blood will flow. How that blood will flow, I don't know. Maybe we should have, I wish I was the one interviewing. I would have asked him for that question. On the blood might flow. But I'm sure we are all intelligent people. So let us try to engage these Yoruba politicians that kept looking away, collecting 700 million naira monthly for security votes. And yet, the whole Southwest is in danger. So imagine kí wọ́n sọ fún wa pé kò lè ṣẹlẹ̀. The lawyer is saying that blood will flow. I have talked about it 4 years ago before this video was produced about last year. But when I was saying it, maybe because people thought I was in abroad. But this lawyer lives in Nigeria. You can't force people to remain one. The Biafra wants to go, let them go. So you're going to force them. Simon Ekpa will deal with you, the government, in accordance to how they want to do it. The government is not going to do it the way they want to do it. They will do it as how they believe it has to be done. And like I said at the beginning, and I'll show it one more time if you have just joined us, according to the government in exile, Mazi Simon Ekpa told me to tell you all that whoever is holding this man, we know the location, but I will not reveal the location on air. Simon Ekpa says, and I quote, "We demand the immediate release of this Yoruba man within 24 hours, or the entire," and like I said, I know the location, but I will not tell you the location. The entire location will be engaged from tomorrow by the Biafra Liberation Army. Fáwọn tó bá di arákùnrin tí fọ́nrán ẹ̀ tẹ̀ ń wò níwájú yìí, government in exile lábẹ́ apàṣẹ Prime Minister wọn Simon Ekpa, ó ní kí n sọ fún gbogbo ẹni tó bá di arákùnrin yìí mú, òun fún yín ní 24 hours. I will not go into all the details. But like I said, there's a lot of work behind the scene. And nobody should call me and be asking further questions. In tó sọ fún mi, ni mo sọ fún àwọn tí message yẹn yé. the Biafra Liberation Army will engage the entire community and the entire location. That is the message.
Thinking about how we've been having this conversation about the unity of Nigeria. And I reflect back at some of the prominent statements made by some of our founding leaders. And I feel that probably this will help us to have a conversation on the Nigerian unity. I just brought four, not to bore you. First, and I quote, not my statement, Nigeria is not a nation. It's a mere geographical expression. There are no Nigerians in the same sense as there are English, Welsh, or French. The word Nigerian is merely a distinctive appellation to distinguish those who live within the boundaries of Nigeria from those who do not. This is accredited to Chief Obafemi Awolowo, the former Prime Minister of the Western region. The second one, and I quote, it is true that we politicians always delight in talking loosely about the unity of Nigeria. 60 years ago, there was no country called Nigeria. What is now Nigeria consisted of several large and small communities, all of which were different in their outlooks and beliefs. The advent of the British and that of Western education has not materially altered the situation, and the many and varied communities have not knit themselves into a composite unit. This is accredited to Sir Amadu Bello, former Premier of Northern Region. The third, and I quote, since 1914, the British government has been trying to make Nigeria into one country. But the Nigerian people themselves are historically different in their backgrounds, in their religious beliefs and customs, and do not show themselves any sign of willingness to unite. The Nigerian unity is only a British intention for the country.
lálá olùlọ́jọ́ kọkànlá oṣù kẹwàá ṣe fẹ́ gbọ́. ọjọ́ tó ń sọjọ́ ìbí ọmọ aládìkún olóyè Sunday májàsọ́lá àdìsá ọmọ adéyẹmọ aka ìgbòho òòṣà nípa bí gbogbo àwọn ọmọ ẹgbẹ́ ìfẹ́lọ́dún àpapọ̀ yorùbá lágbàáyé lábẹ́ ààrẹ wa ọmọọba adébáyọ̀ faládé ti gbàkejì ààrẹ mọ́kẹ́hìndé ìgè-àdùnbí kentos ń ṣe ìrọ́kẹ̀kẹ̀ ìgbáradì níbàámu pẹ̀lú ìfẹ́ àti ẹ̀mí ìforihàn gbàgbékalẹ̀ àyẹ́sí ọjọ́ ìbí ìgbòho fún tọdún yìí pẹ̀lú àkọlé dinner with ìgbòho. bákan náà làwọn ọmọ gba ọba ògbóni àgbáyé lálejò tajudeen ọlárẹwájú àjàlá àti bàbá adésọjí tàlàbí àwòrò ṣàṣà eégún mọ̀gájí nílùú London láti wá ṣe àyẹ́sí fún olóyè ìgbòho lọ́jọ́ náà tí ó wáyé nínú gbọ̀ngàn ńlá ní London Kensington 179 to 199 Holland Park Avenue London W11 4UL United Kingdom bẹ̀rẹ̀ látago 7 ìrọ̀lẹ́ ẹlẹ́lẹ́dago 12 òru. bákan náà láti ń kí wa kú ìmúrasílẹ̀ ìwọ́de làmìlaka tẹ́gbẹ̀lẹ́gbẹ̀ ènìyàn tí ó wáyé nílùú ọba 1 million rally in London lọ́jọ́ 12 oṣù kẹwàá ó jẹ́ ọjọ́ kejì dínà pẹ̀lú ìgbòho léyìí tó láyọ̀mí kóìkì àti bàbá wa gbẹ̀dú ọmọ ṣàkóso ẹ̀ lọ́ọ̀kan ọ̀jọ̀kan àwọn àlàkalẹ̀ ìrọ̀rùn. bàbá ṣe máa fi ọkọ̀ àjàgbé ńlá ní London route bus gbé àwọn àgbààgbà àti àwọn abarapá gbogbo láti BBC in Oxford Street títí tí ìwọ́de ó fi parí sí Paris Trafalgar Square tó bá wá di ọjọ́ 13 ọjọ́ kẹtàdínà pẹ̀lú ìgbòho láwọn máa ṣàbẹ̀wò lọ sí ìlú Manchester gan. fún ẹ̀kúnrẹ́rẹ́ àlàyé síwájú sí i tàbí láti dá sí ètò ìfọlọ́ntírìlì ẹ lè pè tàbí kẹ́ WhatsApp ọláyọmí kóìkì lórí +447 594 050 979 kéde ìgè-àdùnbí lórí +447 570 320 030 ṣọlá kò gbúdọ̀ kú lórí +353 863 375 537. bákan náà ní ẹ lè kàn sí tóyìn ọláoyè lórí +447 896 018 764. lápapọ̀ ọmọ yorùbá àgbáyé pátápátá YSDN pẹ̀lú yorùbá world media home and diaspora àti gbogbo ìkànnì mìíràn tó ń sọ̀rọ̀ sókè fún jàǹgbara ọmọ yorùbá. ní àwọn ẹgbẹ́ ìfẹ́lọ́dún àpapọ̀ ọmọ yorùbá ṣe ń kí ọmọ aládìkún wípé ẹ kú ọdún ẹ kú ìyẹ̀dún a sì ń ṣàmọ́dún sẹ́ẹ̀mí ìtayà tọmọ. yorùbá world media tó ń kéde lórúkọ gbogbo ọmọ yorùbá pátápátá. lálà olùlọ́jọ́ kọkànlá oṣù kẹwàá ṣe fẹ́ gbọ́. ọjọ́ tó ń sọjọ́ ìbí ọmọ aládìkú olóyè Sunday májàsọ́lá àdìsá ọmọ adéyẹmọ aka ìgbòho òòṣà nípa bí gbogbo àwọn ọmọ ẹgbẹ́ ìfẹ́ lọ́dún àpapọ̀.
If you don't allow we Biafrans to go, that zoological republic called Nigeria will be a worse place than Somalia, and today it is happening. And if you have not applied for your Somalian visa, please try and do so. Should I say Somali visa? Try and do so as quickly as possible, because the zoo is on the path of destruction, and there is nothing man can do to reverse it. Mark today's date and what I'm telling you. Nigeria will be destroyed beyond human comprehension. If you don't allow we Biafrans to go, that zoological republic called Nigeria will be a worse place than Somalia, and today it is happening. And if you have not applied for your Somalian visa, please try and do so. Should I say Somali visa? Try and do so as quickly as possible, because the zoo is on the path of destruction, and there is nothing man can do to reverse it. Mark today's date and what I'm telling you. Nigeria will be destroyed beyond human comprehension.
Impediment to Yoruba development is the impediment to Odua development. Without Nigeria, we won't be where we are. 1962, we were far ahead of South Korea and North Korea. We were far ahead of China even. We had television before France. We had radio before South Africa. Now look at where we are today. I think it's a shame that even any Yoruba man can be talking about restructuring at this point in time. What are we restructuring? This country that is already shot to pieces? I don't think that's what we want. But they are always talking about giving Nigeria a chance. The patience of Yoruba with Nigeria has come to an end.
There's a new force of nature at hand, stirring all over the world. They are the young people whom, frankly, we have failed, who are angry, who are organized, who are capable of making a difference. They are a moral army. And the most important thing that we can do for them is to get the hell out of their way.
If you do not get the hell out of our ways, we will come bit by bit, and our ways will be the one that will finally succeed. Moki Bobomo Yoruba, as I say, 2 hours is what we're going to do, and I have the last 13 minutes to appreciate everyone, especially our leader, Professor Adebanji Akintoye, the leader of the Yoruba Self-Determination Group. Thereby, it is on 10. I beg you to do so, especially some of us that must have forgotten. It's 10:10. Let me appreciate those that have contributed for us to produce a leaflet that we discussed yesterday. We've got another 70 pounds ready. If we have the last 20 or something, I can then produce another 20,000. That means we would have 40,000 leaflets to be used during the engagement of the rally on the 12th of October. Moki Masbi, Moki Omobolaji Abdullahi, Moki Diziman 123. And also, like I said, we are still trying to support our beautiful auntie, mother, sister, a true Yoruba campaigner, Ashake TV show. Every contribution by this week, I'm sure we are still shortfall about 400, probably, because maybe just about 300. I don't know. I have to ask her. She needed just $500 to buy a laptop and use for the purpose of the Yoruba nation. Do you know how many laptops the BBC Son with the money that we are giving them as taxpayers? You can see how I was bullied today. From number 10 Downing Street, I was bullied by the officer. I was bullied by the security of the BBC. 8 of them came down just because of me. They know the power of the media. So if we don't have our media that has the right equipment to fight back, it will be very, very difficult. And let me appreciate Triple DRS Ayuba. Mukiawa Awoni. I cite you, my brother Ijoba Italo. Muria Demola my big brother, and I hope I will see you. Oh, it's a dinner ticket. Oh, for your go. I'm sure you will love to see him. So reach out to me and buy your ticket. And you're a big boy in the United Kingdom. And we hope to see many of you in the rally as well. Gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ wà ní outside London, lápè, àyọ̀ ẹnìkankan sílẹ̀. This is not about me. I am just one of the driving of this movement. It is all about every one of us. Some of us might escape, while a lot of our people will not be able to escape. Moki AFB Global, Mr. Lawal. And like I said, we are not here fighting religion. Your religion remains intact, whether you agree with us or not. Bishop Additional, good evening. This man said, this upcoming self-determination rally in the various locations in central London will seek to appeal to the West. I love that word, seek to appeal. We just want them to know what the power of the citizen of this country. Just see what they've done during the well-organized, peaceful Palestinian rally. But how do you expect them to join us? As far as they know, they just see Nigeria as the perspective of our artists. I don't want to mention their names. Look, Capital Extra, I listen to a lot when I'm driving. They play only Nigerians. So they don't know that there's other problems going on in the country. And sometimes when they're playing that music, I'm just laughing that I hope these people understand what is going on in Nigeria. It's far beyond the music. But the music is overshadowing other issues in Nigeria. The genocide going on in the southeast, the killings of innocent Biafrans by the terrorist Fulani military known as Nigerian military. Because there's nothing called Nigerian military, it's a Fulani military. We've just shown you the video. Nigeria has been invaded already. Some of you don't know that. It's been invaded. So, Mr. Wahid was you. Oyedele Abonide Moki Idewo Matthew. Olalekan says, Koiki, you are doing a great job. God will protect you. Yoruba nation not going back. Shout out to every one of you that continue to come in. Let's greet some of you. Mr. Jaye TV, Prince Ademola Heritage, Mubarak Idris, Salam Alaikum sir. It's not a Sunday, so kò sí excuse for Sasalatu. It's a Saturday. You can still make it. Because the whole event will be finished probably by 4 or 5. We'll be done. Let's take it as a day out. Èèyàn kan ló máa jà fún kankan táwọn kan máa fi jàǹfààní ẹ̀. Lóòótọ́ kò ń ṣe gbogbo èèyàn ló máa agree ló dẹ̀ máa jà fún. Ìlú tèmi ń gbé, only God knows how many people fought for it. For me to now be here, even though we are still facing a lot of racism as a black man in this country. I can only pity our children what they will have to experience. Because if I am still experiencing racism as of today at number 10 Downing Street, everybody saw it. After Tiwati clear mini security check, an officer continued to ask me to reproduce my press card. And I did ask him why. Wait, should you want to check me to wọlé? Ṣé wọ́n kàn máa ń jẹ́ kéèyàn wọnú number ṣé Gbàgìrì Ṣàkúrù ló máa wọnú number 10 Downing Street wá dàbí ibi tí èèyàn kọ́kọ́ máa wọlé. You just don't go inside. But the officer wasn't taking it. And eventually, I gave him my card. But I was shocked because I have never experienced such in my years of going to number 10 Downing Street. Decades. I mean, years. If section is the press gallery. Yes, I am doing my job. I don't have to wait for the BBC to be there before I do my job. I don't need other medias to be there. I was doing my job until this officer came next to me and requested that he wants to see my press card. He went to do a verification, and I'm sure it looks stupid. But what can we do? Ara ẹ̀gbin tá à ń fèsì nìyẹn. So tẹ́mi bá sì lè face ẹ̀gbin yẹn inside number 10 Downing Street, even after my security clearance, you might wonder how many of you will never enjoy the freedom tẹ́mi enjoy lénìí nínú Nigeria. You will never enjoy it. And that is me there behind as I continue to speak at number 10 Downing Street. So gbogbo yín tá à ń sọ fún pé ẹ jẹ́ ká jọ darapọ̀ tó bá lè afford it to join Igboho at the dinner, it will be nice. And if you can't, let's join him at the rally. I'm sure many of you are also experiencing racism. Am I surprised? I'm not. Because it is something that we are used to. But ṣáwọn ọmọ wa lè used to it. Ṣé wọ́n lè face the consequence pé kọ́ máa bully wọn lójoojúmọ́ after tí wọ́n wà experienced láti ṣiṣẹ́ tí olúkálukú wa wá ṣe láyé. Iṣẹ́ tèmi wá yàn láyé mi ni mò ń ṣe. Èyí tí wọ́n wá ṣe ó máa yàtọ̀ sí tèmi. But what we are facing today is becoming too much. So I pity Yoruba people tó wà labroad tá à ń pariwo Yoruba nation. Ẹ sọ pé kò kàn. There's no problem. It's just that àwọn èèyàn wa tó wà nílé àná mi ṣe jù. Mr. Oyedeji Ayọ̀wọlé mo kí yín. Idris Abimbola. Mo lọ bẹ́ẹ̀ mo kí ẹ̀yin tí ẹ wà lórí Mix Ella pẹ̀lú mi lálẹ́. Ọmọbọ́lájà Abdullahi shout out to you. Ògúnmọ́lá Abíọ́dún, Aláwù Bàbá, and the rest of the team on the Mix Ella. To everyone on the Twitter space, mo kí yín. Triple DRS says, Adidas, you don't have to be on this platform if you are bored. Ta ló yọ yín lẹ́nu bẹ́ẹ̀? Who is Adidas? Let me have a look. Okay, ẹ má worry, ẹ fi sílẹ̀. I've seen the person. I don't even have to curse him. That's why you have that button. Kò ní yọ yín lẹ́nu mọ́, ẹ má worry. So mo kí gbogbo alẹ́ nǹkan sí. Ẹ má jẹ́ kó stress yín, Mr. Idris. That person is out already. So as I leave us tonight, thank you so much those of you that have joined me on the Twitter as well. Yawa Taiwo Kike Pasami Moki. If I didn't mention your name, just also remember that we are all in this together. Moki Bubonile and Konsio. Oh, do I go up with me, brother? Moki, brother, me, Aziz. I can't wait to see you all the way from Miami coming down. I look forward. I look forward to see many of you that we haven't seen each other for a very long time. Nígbà COVID a máa jáde fún rally. Kò sí COVID this time around. Let's make it a day. Let's impress àwọn tó wà nílé. But we can do it as well, and we can do it better. And then maybe we can take it to the next location. But for now, UK ní location yẹn. Oran Ayọ̀lá máa sùn. I spent a great evening with my mom, mo kí family mi náà, for entertaining everything I am doing without complaining. And I'm being honest. Mo kí àwọn family mi nílé for holding on tight. The last rally we did was 2022. Let's turn things around. Ká tẹ̀ tún fojú ríra, ká rub shoulder, ká sọ̀rọ̀. And remember that Igboho will be with us this time around. So that is a privilege that we should think about. Privilege nípa pé ní olóyè pẹ̀lú wa. Ọlọ́run á dẹ̀ bá wa ṣọdé títí dìgbà yẹn. Idris mo kí yín. Oran Ayọ̀lá máa sùn. Àní ti ojú oorun gba the other side lọ. Èmi náà ni lẹ tún máa pàdé nígbàkigbà tí bá tún jáde. Yoruba Nation is definitely the final solution to all the problems that we are in today. Ó dàárọ̀. Remember to follow, remember to subscribe, and remember to support. Good night.